for the next 25 to 100 years. And the sun is preparing us for that.
Excellent.
Okay.
Dean, I want to thank you for your question, my brother. Good to see you
Oh,
again.
thank you. Always good. Always a
All right.
pleasure.
All right,
One love.
brother.
Thank
Peace.
you.
Doc, you're giving some great answers tonight to all these questions. I'm definitely enjoying just sitting back and learning. Shout out to everybody who came on with the questions. Once again, family, before we continue, we probably got about 15 minutes left. Like I said, Doc's gonna talk for 10 or more hours on Sunday. So Doc needs his rest leading up to the event. But I want to make sure I plug this event again before the end of the show. Make sure y'all tune in. Y'all it's this Sunday, 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Aristocracy of Evil, the Redux, Constructs of the New Old Order. It's gonna be fire, family. It's gonna be fire. Anything you want to add on before we continue with the Q&A, Phil?
Yeah, just what you say that if they're having any problems, they can go to. I don't know if you posted the rest of the information with the Sanu777 at Gmail. If they're
Mhm.
having any problems with registering, just send a request to my email Sunnu 777 at Gmail. Send that request, but make sure that in the subject box you put in all capital letters webinar, and that way I will send you directly from my email the registration link. Also, if you're looking for consultations or any kind of help dealing with problems that you can't have your job unless you know what, then you can get in contact with me at 800-847-1291. That's 800-847-1291.
All right, all right. Let's keep it moving. Make sure y'all sign up this Sunday. It's going down, family. It's gonna be an amazing event. Let's keep it moving. Who we got next here? We got Sienna the Superior. Sienna the
Hello,
Superior. What's going on?
can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, I don't know if I have a question so much as I just want to share and get feedback. So, um, I'm in a situation where I live in the inner city, and there's a lot of gun violence out where I live, and a lot of these people I do or did know. And I felt like over the years I've been living here, since I have been actively doing altar work and shadow work, I feel like on the spiritual side, my light is like the brightest. And it makes me feel like these spirits make their way to me. And I have experimented, and I felt like my ancestors guided me to do so because for practice and for experience. But what happened was I ended up like creating this spiritual army. So much to I had to take and create the different war elements that they're used to and put it into a separate altar in the garage because the garage is not connected to the house. So to me, the garage represents like abstract thoughts. So I put that altar out there to kind of free up some space in the home because it was like a lot going on, and I could feel that it was chaotic, although I was navigating in. I said I was handling it pretty well because I wasn't in danger or anything like that. It was just more so me interacting with the chaos that they were used to. And so my question is, how can I, like, what type of ritual or spell could I do in order for them to begin more so protecting the neighborhood? Like, I don't know if I should be putting more energy at the trees, or like, will that help? Or like, is there a bigger entity that's kind of keeping this area on the level that it's at?
Well, the first thing, I've worked with energies through a method they call sorcery. And my first question, well, my only question to you is, if you are going to be spelling, what entity are you serving? And what entity are you calling upon in order for you to have favored results?
The entity that has been, what I personally feel like that has been trying to pull this energy out of me is Santa Muerte. Yeah.
You're talking about the sigil of death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if you're dealing with the sigil of death, then what you're doing is strengthening the very energies that are around you. That's happening at this moment. You have to look to light.
Mm.
You're not dealing with the light. The darkness is here. You don't feed the darkness with one who brings the darkness because he closes the eyes of the world. He closes the eyes of the light of the world to people and brings them into his amenti, as it's called. So you want to bring light where the darkness is. You don't want to bring darkness to where darkness is. You're only enriching and doing his job.
So would you say that the Virgin Mary is the better option?
Yes, you want to deal with something that has to do with light. You have to deal with one who contradicts the darkness, one who works against the darkness. And I don't mean just darkness that you see when you turn out the lights. I'm talking about the light within. I'm talking about enhancing the light within, which means that people begin to understand the responsibility for their actions. And you have,
Reflection.
yes. And the reflection is mirror magic is what's best for you at this particular time. Have you tried that?
That's crazy. I That's crazy that you say that. I'm looking at a mirror right now, and then I have another um mirror right behind it, and I haven't really tapped into the mirror magic yet. And but I know that to me, how they present themselves to me, the Virgin Mary and Santa Muerta, they are a twin to me because I'm a Virgo, and but I have a Gemini moon, so that's the twin. And I was always kind of teeter tottering back and forth with both of them, but
But your nature, beloved, your nature is one with the Virgin Mary. You're not dealing with the masculine energy properly. Your
okay.
masculine energy is actually superseding the one that you're supposed to be using, which is your feminine energy, and you're not using that to the fullest extent. You have to step back and actually examine where your focus and your attention is, especially when you intend to do magic. That's a very,
Mm-hmm.
very delicate thing. You are actually manipulating forces. I've done that, and I've
Mm-hmm.
dealt with the payment. It's nothing free. It's not free. You have
Right.
to go from something in order for you to actually have something happen. And then the universe calls for balance. So I would suggest that you extol the feminine energies in Ma'at, in Ast, in Heteru, and these energies that are feminine in their nature, Yamaya, and these are the energies that are your power. These are your power. The other energies are not your power. You're just enhancing their energy by giving up yours.
That makes complete sense.
See, and I appreciate the question and the call, my sister.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Peace. All right, let's keep it moving. We got here. We got Troy Benz. Troy Benz, what's happening, brother?
There we go. Thank you very much, Brother Phil, Dr. Phil, and Brother Rich for taking my call. Um, Brother Valentine, some of us live on the other side of the world and would love to attend our your webinar. So I hope in the future there's an opportunity for us. The question that I had for you is this. What would you say to the people who are starting to feel more tapped in, starting to feel a separation from the herd? Dreams are becoming more vivid, and the ringing in our ears, we're starting to hear it more often. What would you say to these people who are starting to feel some of the upgrades?
I say open up and surrender to it. These are downloads that are attempting to find the those who have been chosen. Essentially, we once our focus and our attention is away from the herd, as you say, you become one of the chosen. Because this is something that you don't do very easily. You look around you and see how many people are lost. Just imagine you through the filter and the attention that you've placed on yourself in reference to the world. Just imagine that. That's your initiation process that you're taking into consideration. And as far as you coming to join me from the other part of the world, I invite you to think about joining my spring semester coming up in metaphysical psychology, because that's where I do most of my help to the brothers and sisters in preparation for what's getting ready to come down. They go through their initiation process through that particular course. So if you want to, you can go to uksnow.org. That's U is in United, K is in King, S is in Science, NOW.org, and just click where it says registration. Fill out the form, and in the last box, just put down registering for spring semester MPSY 1 2024. And then if you join us, it's a 3 month course. We have 6 classes. You get to keep the recording. You get to keep the PowerPoint. And I would suggest that if you want to know any real deep parts, thank you very much, King. King Simon, thank you, beloved. If you are seriously want to get into, I've had superstar football players, basketball players. I've
Mhm.
had superstar singers. Earth, Wind, and Fire were my friends. These are the people that I know that I had. That their sons were my students. And I'm saying to you, there's everybody out there. I would really suggest that if you do have the finances to come to the classes, I haven't changed the amount for the course for the last 25 years. It's the
Okay.
same. So if you want, I would suggest that you look it up. We're starting our new semester on the 23rd of March. If you are
Okay.
really interested in getting deep into understand what the next 10 to 20 years, what the next millennium is about, I would suggest you prepare yourself with metaphysical psychology.
I appreciate that. Thank
Hey,
you.
And
Thank you,
then
Brother
you-
Rich.
yes, sir. Peace. All right, let's keep it moving, family. We got Empress Cindy. Empress, are you there? Empress Cindy, are you there?
Yes,
We're gonna
greetings. Blessed love. Greetings.
uh,
peace.
Blessed love.
Okay.
Irie.
Thanks for having me on the show.
I can't hear you, brother. Is there any way you could talk louder?
Oh, give thanks for having me on the show. Sorry about that. I had a speaker. And then,
Yes, sir.
yeah, yeah. Give thanks, Dr. Valentine. Long time, and I wanted to connect with you, and this
Give
is the right
thanks.
opportunity. Give thanks.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what do you know about the Lumi? In terms of the cryptocurrencies that you've been talking about. I think
Hmm.
there's one coming from Africa someplace. I don't remember the country right now off the top of my head, but it's called Lumi. What do you know about that,
Yes. Someone send me information on the Lumi, and I'm waiting for some kind of white paper on it. And until I see the white paper, I'm not moving anywhere towards anything that I don't understand, because I know that there are a lot of people who are out there trying to rip off people with scams, like FTX, for example. When FTX first came out, I was going to join into that and put some currency in there, and I was going to wait, but I did not see the white paper as anything that gave me the proper. It was too much, visceral information that didn't give me the idea of what was really going on. So I held off, and that made me make sure that I don't know who. If I don't know who they are, and they don't give me proper information that I recognize where my dollars are going, even though it's fiat dollars, it's still a way of dealing with, currency. So I would suggest that you check to see about the Lumi and to make sure that the white paper states that it is going to be incorporated into the banking system or into the system of communication that's going to be benefiting the system itself, not just one of these coins like these ridiculous stupid coins. They got over 25,000 of them out there. They're all going to be flushed down the toilet, and there's only going to be about 20 of them that's going to really be working. So if the Lumi is part of that, I'm going to look into it myself. I don't pretend to know everything, but I will definitely see what that's about, and if it does favorably, gravitate to my consciousness, I will let you know, definitely.
Yes,
Indeed.
Honorable. Yes, thanks for the
Thank you for the question, my brother.
Give thanks, beloved. Thank
Peace.
you for your time.
Peace.
Peace.
All right. We got two more people in the back.
Mhm.
Before we close out, let's get to Demarius. What's going on, my brother? Yeah, can't hear you. It's somewhere there. Can't hear you, my brother. All right. Let me get to this other caller, Demarius. I'm not gonna hang up on you, and I'll come right back to you, my brother. And just just troubleshoot. I'll come right back to you after this call. All right, we'll come right back to Demarius. We got 94 Legend. What's happening, brother?
Hey, how y'all doing? Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
My question is about dreams. When I'm meditating, trying to meditate, when I'm reading books, I keep getting these visions of dreams that I've been having since I was a little child. I mean, it could be up to 30, 35 dreams at a time. I want to know why I can't just settle down and get these dreams out of my head and actually concentrate on what I'm trying to do. It
Okay.
happens every day. Every
Okay.
day
How
I dream about what to do.
these contents in the dream? Are there something you recognize as an experience that you had as a child?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Well, they must have had some kind of indelible impact on you when you were that age, because they are ingrained in the chemistry of your memory. Remember, memory is nothing but a chemical recall. So until that chemical is diluted in some way by the fact that your attention does not give them the necessary fuel to keep strengthening them, you have to understand that memory is the recall of a particular mixing of chemistries that happened at the time that you experienced it. So what you're doing is, as you're going into meditation, that had such an indelible influence on you that every time you go to a place where you quiet, what is in your subconscious comes up and starts triggers a recall and a replay. You keep hitting the replay button. What you
right,
need to do is, when it does happen, do not assign the type of attention that you would to the thought. Because the more you assign your attention to that thought, the more you place your emotional impetus into that thought, the more strength you give to it, and it stays alive one more time, one more strength. What you need to do is to stop putting judgment into what you recall in your meditation. Because remember, every time you go into your meditation, you bring back a memory that you judged was something important to you. But
hmm,
if you stop judging that thing by saying, "Oh, that was very important at one time. Oh, I remember what I did. I heard. I skinned my knee." And all of those things essentially give life to that thought. It nurtures from your attention. It feeds on your attention. So when you no longer put the importance of that thought as you're meditating, allow it. Sometimes when you resist it, you strengthen it. You have to allow it to happen. The more you allow it without placing any of your attention, that precious part of yourself, into that particular moment, the less it has its energy, less it feeds. And the more you go into meditation and not give any value to that particular thought, the more it begins to dissipate and it comes back less and less and less until it disappears.
okay. I'll see
Hey,
you
yeah.
guys Sunday. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
See you
Your
Sunday.
pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.
Shout out to that brother. Demarius, what's going on,
Yes.
brother? You ready? There you
Hello.
go. There you go,
Okay.
brother. There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but thank you for taking my call. Thank you for your patience.
Mhm.
As an Andromeda starseed, what can you tell us about the history of Andromeda, their role in our planet's ascension, if they have any role at all?
Well, I would not listen to the Europeans who give you that information. I would go back to the Dogon and deal with the Ijiji and how they dealt with the stars. The stars are nothing more than hieroglyphics that essentially beam down particular information to you that aligns directly with specific synaptic regions in the brain. Andromeda is nothing more than the star system that is linked up in the brain. You have to understand that Andromeda is not a place. It's part of what the dome was written for. The hieroglyphics of the sky that we call Gemini, Taurus, Aquarius, Andromeda, Pleiades. Um, um, the starts with an A. Went right over here. But what you're looking at essentially is what a human being, and inspired by what it is that they saw in the stars, and looking at what that particular position of that particular thing, like the Sirius star system, or actually, we got to stop calling it Sirius. We have to call it what the ancients called it, was Sopedet. so pedet. That was what Sirius was to us. And what happens is when those particular hieroglyphics end up in the sky, certain things happen down here that we become conscious of, so that that appearance now shows something that appears here to us. And if we see that there's a groundswell of water, as it does in the Nile, or there's a groundswell based upon waters that come and wash things over, all of it, we are looking at what it is that that particular lesson plan that was given to us in that dome was supposed to give us the sight to be able to see not only what we see in nature, which is the mother that teaches, but what is the Father within, the Spirit. So the spirit and nature work together. And what you are perceiving in the avatar that you are is you are perceiving and feeding back to the universe through your unique vessel. You are taking in and contemplating on energies that others are actually participating in. And collectively, your consciousness is what's changing and reevaluating everything around you. These Europeans are looking for people who come from Pleiades. And if you look at these Europeans who are talking about being Pleiadians, they are pale ass white with long white hair. These people are creating their own mythos to give them a reality that they stole from everybody that had melanin on this planet. So I would say to you, and I did something in New York. I think Brother Rich and I think it was with Brother King Simon, where we did something talking about a UFO conference, where I showed who it was that these Europeans are actually dealing with. There was some white boy called Drunvalo Melchizedek, talking all kind of nonsense about who it is that Saint Michael is, and who everybody was these pale ass Europeans. You don't see anybody black in any of their realities. You see it in all of their cartoons. You see it in their superheroes. They're all taking from you. So whatever it is they're telling you about the Pleiades, seek out the ones who knew before they knew. Like they knew Sopadet before they knew Ceres. They didn't even know that Ceres had a three-star, was a triune system until they went and visited the Dogon. So study your own eschatology when it comes to astrotheology, because that's what everything is. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, all of that is what is under the rubric of something called astrotheology. We learned everything from the stars in the sky, which were the hieroglyphics, the first book of life. That's where we learned from. Within you, my beloved brother, passed on from your mother in your mitochondria, is the Alexandrian library. Seek the knowledge there while using some of the knowledge they may have interpreted, but don't take it from them. Remix it, realchemize it, and make it your own, because it was always your own.
Hey, I appreciate the question, my brother.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good night.
Peace, peace.
Please.
All right, that was the last call we're gonna take, but we had one super chat. Shout out to Kansu for the super chat donation. I appreciate it. Kansu wants to know, Doc, on behalf of a new listener with me, they ask if God can do anything, why not just eradicate sin and give up his only son?
That's ridiculous when we start talking about giving up his only son. The only son that he's given us is the son above us. The son that is above us is the Son of God. That is the one that resurrects after December 21st, stays in the southern quadrant of our flatted Earth for 3 days, and then rises when the so-called what is that Virgo. When Virgo is rising on the third day, that's when we talk about the son being born of a virgin. Everything is based upon astrotheology. They anthropomorphized it and started putting white people to the information that was actually based upon forces that we understood. If the ancestors were to come back and see the way we took the knowledge that they put down in story form and we literalized it, they would have been laughing at us. They'd have told us we are fools, because everything in that Bible is supposed to be about science, not about no man named Moses, which they stole from the ancient Kemites. Moshe, Moshe was the name of Tutankhamun's father. The word Moshe means helper of humanity. So all of what we're looking at, as far as if God can do anything, God can do everything. You are the God that can do anything. You're the better part of God. Have you ever watched God and actually express Him and herself through the eruption of a volcano that kills 25,000 people? Is that the God you're talking about? No, we are the better part of God. We were created by that thing that seeks itself because it doesn't know itself. I know everybody's saying, oh, well, God is all knowing. It's, yes, it is. God is all knowing, and being all knowing means you don't know a damn thing about yourself. You just are. You are the unknowable. And the way we tap into the unknowable is by us, the known, tapping into the unknown. And the unknown gives us little bare scratches of what the unknowable is about. So if God can do anything, you can do anything. How do you eradicate sin? You understand what sin is. Sin means ignorance. Sin means you act out of ignorance. You do not know. And the reason why you do not know is because God needed to not know itself. The reason why you exist is to come into knowledge of self so that the Creator will know itself. And I'm saying, oh, that's blasphemous. The Creator knows all. He sits upon a throne waiting for you to do the right thing so that you could be rewarded at the end. That's bullshit. You're talking like a little child. They're giving you fairy tales. They're giving you little things for you to play. And you know, Mary had a little lamb and, you know, and 3 little pigs. That's what the Bible is trying to tell you. And even your Jesus Christ said his name was Lucifer. He only did it to you at the end, what they call the revelations, which was actually called the initiation of the anointed Isis, which then became the apocalypse, which then became the revelations. And at the end, in chapter 22, verse 16, he said, I, Jesus. Read it. I'm the scion of David and the bright morning star. Whoa, Jesus is the morning star? Well, who else is the morning star? Lucifer. That's why the Vatican worships Lucifer. They don't worship Jesus. The Vatican worships Lucifer. And you all think that when the white man tells you hate Lucifer, do you hate Lucifer? Because he warped everything that Lucifer represented? Lucifer was Venus. He's the bringer of the dawn. He's the star you see right before the sun comes up over the horizon. Everything you think you know about the reality of what you teach, preach, worship, everything has been twisted. You have no knowledge of what the reality is, and they're keeping that in what they call religion. They're relegating your brain to think outside of the science that your ancestors left you. The anthropomorphizing of gods with heads of dogs and animals and so forth, those were just ways to teach children. And that's the way that your boy, what's his name, who believes in evolution? Who was the dude who did with evolution?
Darwin.
Darwin. Do you know Darwin's father was an Egyptologist? And he got the whole thing about evolution from dogs and animals and apes and so forth from all of the statuary that his father had in his studio. It's ridiculous that we are. This is the time of revelation. I'm going to leave you all with this. This is the time of revelation, family. Your religion is not going to mean anything, but they're going to put something else in its place. They're going to have you worshiping people like Beyonce and the rest of these creatures. They're going to have you worshiping a cult of personality when you should be looking within. And just because they have money means that they don't mean that they're greater than you are. Just because they have more notoriety over that system of Medea. Medea was the goddess of illusions. That's why it's called the Medea. So you have to understand that your religions are not going to mean anything, though they're going to have the meaning, because everybody wants to fulfill this Armageddon crap that they're talking about. And who's doing the Armageddoning? It's all the people that want you to believe that everything that they know and everything that's in the Bible is coming true. That's because they wrote the script. The Bible is only about 700 years old, the one you're reading. And they had all this time to twist and turn and give you all kinds of meanings. It's good for people who have been sitting on crack or have fentanyl drugs and so forth to come to Jesus so that you can stop thinking about yourself that way. But if you start dealing with higher consciousness, like this brother is affording for you, when black magic comes on here, he's not talking from that particular perspective. He's bringing people on that's going to free you Free you from all that nonsense that you're doing. You look into books to find yourself. Go within, know thyself, and come to school. Come to our university. Come to the webinars. Come to this brother's Patreon page. Stay away from churches. They don't mean a goddamn thing. You see what your boy, what's his name, dealing with P Diddy,
Who,
Piss
TD
Diddy.
Jakes? TD
Yeah,
Jakes?
yeah. I'm the first one to call him TD Snakes 25 years ago.
I
Now
remember.
everybody calling him TD Snakes and Creflo Pimpadala. These people are these are the demons that are keeping you trapped in a myth. Time to come out and understand what it is. Time to graduate. Time to come out and stop being super seniors in the consciousness realm. That's that. I'm ranting. I'm sorry, beloved. So, for those of you brothers and sisters, if you want to start the process, come see us on Sunday. And if you want to get the process personally, one to one with me, to ask me the questions and to be able to know what's getting ready to come down, I advise you, or at least I recommend to you, to join our university.
Wow. Oh, what a show, Doc. High frequency conversation tonight. High level conversation, as 19 Keys would say. I want to thank everybody for listening, tuning in, Doc. You did a great job. I look forward to Sunday, Doc. Keep up the great, amazing work, my brother.
Thank you, beloved, and you do the same.
Yes, sir. Peace, my brother.
Peace and love.
Signing out, family. I'll be back tomorrow with a special guest. Stay tuned. But it's gonna be a new guest. All right. See you tomorrow, family. Peace.
Indeed.
You know.
Excellent.
All right, I see y'all lining up in the back. Once again, family, we're doing a Q&A, a brief Q&A. Doc is going to be here for about an hour, 20 minutes approximately tonight. If you have a question, click on the link pinned at the top of the chat. Let's start off with putting Doc's PayPal on the screen because we always got to take care of
Ah,
elders.
I forgot to send you my wife's book cover.
You can send it during the show, and
Oh, okay.
in the middle of Q&A, I'll post it.
All right.
If
I'll
you,
go ahead. Okay. I'll
what's
send it. I'll send it after a few minutes if you want to.
what's your PayPal, Doc?
My PayPal
Yeah.
is Kemet Earth, KEMET
Uh-huh.
at gmail.com. One word. Kemet Earth.
All right, family. If you are interested in taking care of the elders in our community who have been teaching for over 30 years, feel free to head on over to PayPal and send a nice donation to Dr. Valentine, and he will certainly appreciate it, family. Let's get started with before we do, Doc. How's everything going with you and the family? Good to have you back on here, Doc. What's going on? I see you got the beard going on.
Yeah. Guys started every time I'd shave it off, I'd start itching up my face and start bumping up. So I said, what the hell? I'll just go ahead and go full elder.
Indeed. I hear you. I hear you, Doc. I
I'm
hear
waiting
you.
for this. I'm trying to get some gray hair,
Uh-huh.
but it won't grow yet. But that's genetic, so I can't help it.
Indeed. All right. Are you ready to get to some questions, Doc?
Sure, you're right. Sure, you're
All
right.
right. Let's get to the first question from the family tonight. Let's get to Dean. Dean, are you there? Dean, are you there?
I'm there, man. Oh,
Hey.
thank you. Thank you. Thanks,
Yes.
Brother Rich.
Yes, sir.
Um,
What's
I
your
just
question?
want to say, Brother Rich, when you were you did your thing at the Forbidden Conscious Awards.
Oh,
You and Kambata on stage.
thank you,
There was
brother.
a few of us that were feeling that magic. So it was beautiful to see you get your award, to do your thing. I must say your show is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Every night you knocking it at the park.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Brother Valentine, I'm honored. I don't even know where to begin with the question, but I want to say to both of you, when you had to look inside yourself and see the best part of yourself, how did you step into those shoes, and how do you motivate yourself to stay in those shoes despite all the things we go through, all the changes that we might be going through right now? How
Yeah.
do you stay in the best self, continue to stay in that best self, and keep your drive and ambition going in your best self?
Well, that's a great question.
Indeed.
It's to stop lying to yourself first. The first thing we have to do is to face the reality about ourselves. We have a tendency to have a glorified image of ourselves. And when we look in the mirror, we tend to project what we think should be in the mirror rather than what is. When you become comfortable with the beautiful as well as the ugly part, we try to cover the ugly part with all kind of cosmetics and stuff. When you're comfortable with the ugly part and you're comfortable with the beautiful part, then that particular equilibrium begins to give you a sense of what the world is really like. So you don't have to worry about that. As far as what it is that caused me to become part of this particular mission, well, just like anyone else, there was a crucible that I had to cross. I lost everything, homeless two times, really two and a half times, living in people's houses on the street, dealing with certain things that you have to come to realize. But then do not allow the present situation to become the victor in your situation. And then what you know in your mind is that, hey, you don't belong here. This is simply a segue to where you know you belong. So I kept that and kept the strength, maintained myself, didn't have any animosity to anyone, and I did not have. Therefore, there was no adversary with and you give up that adversary, and you tell the adversary, you begin to alchemize the adversary to become part of your positive plan. So, yes, that was a very good question, a very thought provoking as well, and I like that.
Indeed, and just to answer real quick, my brother, let me just say this real quick. I could tell you would be a good interview if you ever wanted to pursue that career, my brother. Sometimes it's just why can't I? Sometimes it's not just the question you ask; it's how you ask it, and you have a certain energy that you emit when you ask the question that adds to the beauty of the question. And I'm good at recognizing talent. So if you ever want to explore that path, I'm telling you, you will be a good interview, brother. But to answer your question real quick, or since you opposed it to both of us, with me personally, there's this song that on a Rocky soundtrack that's called Hearts on Fire. I feel like my heart is on fire. And even if I wanted to be a fuck up, I couldn't be a fuck up because my heart is just burning with so much passion and emotion and tenacity and love that it just wakes me up every morning. I swear, it's harder for me to sit still and not do something than it is for me to pursue my mission here on earth. I wouldn't say that's easy, but that's good. But for me to just be lazy and sit back and not do it, that will hurt me to the core. I probably wouldn't last 5 more years on this earth plane. So it's just a burning desire in me that gets me moving. Y'all can see it the way I walk and the way I talk. So I'm just being faithful to who I am inside. I have no other choice. I have no other choice. But brother, I want to thank you for your question. All right, brother, beautiful question. Peace, peace. All right, let's keep it moving. Dean, I got to make room in the chat, so I'm gonna have to get you out the studio, Dean. All right, let's go to Spring. Spring, are you there?
Yes, good evening.
Peace.
All right, thank you, Black Magic, for hosting the Elder tonight. And thank you, Dr. Valentine, for all the wisdom and just jewels you've imparted over the years. I'm calling from DC, and I wanted to know this whole Maui brutality and attack on the people of Maui and Lahaina. I just wanted to know your thoughts in terms of the deep state or whoever these lunatics are that just think that they can use a direct energy weapon to destroy life, and what you think the deep state agenda is for the future.
Good question. Well, uh, there's an old saying: "Follow the money," and you'll find out who's actually behind it. Of course, there is a cabal of people who have infiltrated all the governments on the planet. This took over 75 to 100 years to accomplish. They're in China, they're in Russia, they're in the United States of America, and they have a puppet, Biden, that's presently on the seat. And what we saw in Lahaina and in there in that beautiful island was that the native people had gone to the courts, and when they went to the courts, they got a stay on any development on sacred land. And what happened was the part of the stay that they had from development as well as rezoning was the caveat. The caveat to that was there'd be no development on that land, no rezoning on that land, unless there was a natural disaster. So what happened was, as you said very correctly, there were directed energy weapons, but everybody's talking about power lines were the cause of the fires. Then that's a lie, because the power lines, the power company said that they had cut the power to all those areas 6 hours before the actual blaze began. So it's not the power lines that did it. Now they're finding that over 2,000, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 children are missing. This is part of the rezoning of the elites. The elites are the next big fires are going to be in the central parts of America. They're going to burn out and destroy the farmlands and what they call rewild. I think most people were there when 10 years ago, 12 maybe years ago, maybe more, I spoke about the fact that they're about to rewild Central America, not Central America and South America, but I mean the central part of North America here. They're about to rewild it, bringing elephants back, lions, and different wildlife that are in Africa. They're going to bring them and cast all the people out. Either that, or they're going to cause a volcanic eruption in Yellowstone, where they have a actual climate and earth-ending volcano there, as well as there's a volcano right around Louisiana and Arkansas and the areas in there. There's a actual volcano there that most people are not aware of, and what they're doing is they're causing these tectonic charges that are going to begin earthquakes. You see, they're getting ready to steer and make 2 and 3 different hurricanes. We are at war, and the deep state is using natural means, like they're getting ready to do with the new, you know what, the big C. They're coming back at us with that nonsense. And the people are ready, of course, for that. But as far as Lahaina is concerned, this was a land grab and a staging ground for the military in the upcoming war that they want with China. They did the same thing, the upcoming staging war, the way that Russia used Cuba, they're going to use Hawaii, because China is a paper tiger. They're falling apart. They're getting flooded out, fired out. If you're watching all these climactic madness, that's all being staged by the deep state. This is direct energy weaponry, and they want to get rid of 3 to 4 billion people on this planet, and they don't care how they do it. And they're going to use Nature Mother to do so.
Thank you for your question, Spring.
Thank you so much.
All right, peace. All right, let's get to let's see. I see King Simon. What you doing here, man?
Oh my God!
What you doing here,
Oh
King?
my God! Who is
Baba,
what is
Baba,
yes?
Baba.
How you
Brother
doing?
Rick, we got to support the Baba. First I want to ask and thank you, Brother Rich, for all you've done, and of course, Baba Phil, that all you've done for all that we've done and all that you've done for us. But I want to find out the metaphysics of what can happen if we continue to disrespect the spirit of the elders.
Mm.
Because a lot of that is going on where they're disrespecting the research and all the stuff of the elders on other platforms and everywhere else. But what is the metaphysics of what can happen along the route?
Well, the elders are there to maintain balance,
Yeah,
and it's like children let loose in a place where adults need to function.
that's it.
And so when you disrespect the oracles that were placed here to give you symmetry and solidity of action and thought for your future, and you disobey the wisdom that the elders had brought based upon their own, mess ups and fuck ups and so forth, we try to do the best for the next generation, but they have been taught not to listen to the elders. In fact, they have been taught that they have all they need to know because they have access to information, which is not knowledge and which is not wisdom. Information is just raw material.
Mm-hmm.
And all they're taking is raw material. And in my school, we teach that there are different facets to the elevation of consciousness. There's first knowledge, there's first information that's there, and that's just dead. It's just
Yeah.
inert.
Yeah.
The information now is taken in, and once it's crunched by you, you now
Yeah.
have it as knowledge. Now the knowledge must now be honed, and in the honing of knowledge and the working of knowledge and the forging of knowledge and the forming of knowledge, now you get to wisdom. And then
Yeah.
from wisdom, once you impart that, you remain the student, and that leads to enlightenment. So those are the four stages, but
Yeah.
right now we're stuck on the first two. A
Mhm.
lot of the young people only got knowledge, and that's what the computer does. So what they're doing now is they're creating the AI in order to be able to think for them. So they don't
Mhm.
have any more thinking to do. All they have to
Yeah.
do is push a button, or what I call the cut and paste generation. They don't have any discipline to feed. They don't know what it is to get their hands dirty to get to the diamond, to get to the gold.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much, Bob. I'm not going to hold you. Thank you, Brother Rich. I'll talk to y'all later. All right. Peace and love.
All right,
Peace and
King.
love, beloved.
Peace. All right, shout out to King Simon. Let's get to H. David. H. David, what's going on? I remember this brother. You called last time Phil was here, right?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay. I feel
I didn't
like
get it. I didn't get. I wish I would have, but I'm glad I'm here now.
you look familiar. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Peace and blessings to you, brother. Brother Rich and Phil. One quick question in relation to the soul consciousness. How does that play in terms of the subconsciousness, and what aspects of inner alchemy can you do to tap in to that realm?
The soul is in the seat of the heart. The heart is the seat of the soul. So, where does your heart lie? What is it that drives you forward in a sense of necessity? What is it that's within you to accomplish that would you feel in your heart better, not only yourself, but someone else around you or the people around you? Once you find a purpose that is towards the expression of ma'at, you've tapped into the soul. Because if you don't have ma'at at the end, as you see at the judgment day for in the ancient Kemetic pantheon, if you're looking at the end game, the judgment, you see your soul, the heart itself is actually being weighed against the feather. So the heart is being the seat of the soul. What is it that is in your heart that brings out not only emotions, but is almost as a Geiger counter to let you know what's wrong, and also as a compass to let you know what's right? What is that? What is it that drives you and makes you feel good after the end of the day when you're closing your eyes? What doesn't give you nightmares? What is it that you have to give, that you give freely without any expectation of return?
Mm.
Then you are now tapping into soul energy.
Powerful.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
man.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for the question, brother. All right. Peace.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Once again, family, if you would like to ask Doc a question, the link is at the top of the chat. Shout out to everybody who called in so far. Wonderful questions so far. Let's keep it moving, family. If you haven't hit that like button, hit the like button. It's very important. If you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you're taking care of Doc with the PayPal. Doc's PayPal is on the screen. I'm leaving it on the screen the whole show. If you could help this elder by contributing and donating to his PayPal at kemetearth at gmail.com. Let's keep it moving with Millie.
What's going on? Peace, Rich.
Hey,
How's it
peace. What's happening, brother?
Bubba? Good, man. How y'all doing? What's up, Bubba?
All
We're
right.
good. We're
Hey,
good.
man. I just wanted to tell y'all I missed y'all show, and man, I don't know if y'all got another one coming up, man. I want to see if y'all got another one. Y'all doing another one? Another show, you and Bubba, Rich?
What's your what do you mean? Which one?
I think y'all did one in like June or July or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about, are you speaking about a
No,
webinar?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
the webinar. Yeah, I've kind of fall back on that because everybody's been asking me about past webinars.
Hmm.
So I've been working on getting my Webin Archive, which is my new website,
Yeah.
and all of my past webinars will be featured on there, and it'll be at a minimum price. It'll be broken up into small pieces so that you can actually have access to it at any time.
Nice, nice. And where are you? Where are you gonna be platforming that at, Bubba?
It will be if is everybody on our mailing list, you will get a an announcement if you're on our mailing list. If you're not, you can go to www.uksnow.org and just click where it says contact and click in and fill out that form there. You'll then be added to our mailing list, and you'll get updates from what we call our not what is that called? Well, it comes to you via constant contact, I believe. The women take care of that. Yeah, constant contact, and you'll see it says in the box, the doctor's Valentine. That will be your cue that you know that you're getting information from us.
Nice. I'm gonna have to hit that up then for sure, man. Um, all right. Well, I didn't want to take up too much of y'all's time. I guess that was my main question is if y'all still got content. So, Rich, I appreciate it, man.
All right, Millie, take care, brother. All right,
Thank you.
all right, peace.
Peace.
All right, let's keep it moving with David. David, what's going on, brother?
Hold on one second. Hey, Kermit, I'm gonna run to the bathroom. All right, hey, thank y'all. Appreciate everything that y'all do. Sorry, I'm at work. I had to step out from where I was
It's
at.
all right, brother. I see you on your grind. I like that. I like that.
I definitely remember you, David. What's up, David?
Oh, yo, what's up, man?
Yeah, good to
Hey,
see you again. Good to see you,
yes,
brother.
sir. Likewise. Hey, quick questions. Just doing my own shadow work and doing my own meditation and everything I do. I noticed something maybe a couple of weeks ago. When people talk about having like panic attacks and having like anxiety, I experienced that, but I dealt with it better than the most, or just at least for me, you couldn't tell that I dealt with anxiety. Because when I'm around people, sometimes you can feel like the energy and feel that whatever that is in your body that makes you feel that way. But my thing is that just like raw cosmic energy that's just flowing through us, and us not being at a place where, like I said, I did my shadow, doing my shadow work, and if you're not in a clear space where you can understand what's going on, you can't transmute that feeling until
I like that question.
you know what I'm saying?
I like that question.
That's because you're still not at peace with your shadow.
Mm,
It's a process. The anxiety is the melding process.
right.
Don't resist it because it intensifies when you do.
Right, and that's what I haven't been doing. Cause exactly. So when I just kind of let it come and just feel it, and just let it kind of just go through my body and feel the feeling, I can just tell my senses just kind of enhance, and I
There
can
it is.
just feel my mind is
Mm.
well, mostly my mind is just clearer. My
Yeah.
thoughts are just more sharpened, and I was like, wow. And then because I work at a hospital, and I have some patients that have that issue with anxiety, and I can just see that the shaking and the convulsion they do. I feel that and I felt that before, but now I'm at a space where I can just take it, like I said, and just convert it from that nervous energy into, I guess, more usable energy. I guess that's the only way that I can really articulate it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me help you articulate it.
Yes,
That
sir.
the anxiety that you feel is the download.
Whew, whew, whew.
Stop
Mm.
for a minute. Stop when it happens, and
Hmm.
know that you're getting information. Something is
Okay.
coming for you. You've opened up that chakra. Do not feel any, and don't put a name on it,
Okay.
because that's what
I like that
doctors put names on stuff so that they can prescribe a drug. You don't
for
want to
sure.
do that.
David, I got to show you something before you leave. Got I hope y'all can see this. I only had one question I want to ask Doc tonight from me personally. What does that say on the screen?
What would you say is the spiritual meaning of anxiety?
That's the only. I only had one question. I said, listen. I said I'm gonna ask Doc one question, then I'm gonna pass it to the people. I didn't get a chance to ask it yet, but you tapped into that field or something, and you asked it. So this shit
And
is
that's so funny because I really had like two other questions that I wanted to ask,
but
but
you asked.
then but then someone was like, no, because I already had that question, and I was like, Lord, ask about this because I know Doc is super
Yeah.
knowledgeable, and even you, brother Rich, just because you definitely overcame stuff as well, so you would have an opinion about it. So that it just dropped in, and I was like, ha, I'm gonna ask the anxiety question.
What's that? That's quantum entanglement, Doc? Is that what that is?
Well, what happens here is quantum entanglement.
Okay.
In
Okay.
other words, there is no distance, there's no space, and there's no time.
Indeed.
All things are in the one. The same thing that Dr. Gabriel Oyibo was talking about.
Right. Right.
There's only one thing. And all of us are operating on the circuitry that we call, listen carefully, the hydrogen atom.
Mm.
Once the hydrogen atom is activated within us, there is only the hydrogen atom. Everything else dovetails from that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come back through the quantum entanglement, you come back to the oneness. And that's the oneness. Remember, the one, when it folded over on itself, created the hydrogen atom. The hydrogen atom is the one. And you talk about Neo, it's
Mm-hmm.
the hydrogen atom.
Hydrogen atom.
Wow.
Man. Thanks for the question, David.
Hey, no problem. Appreciate your
All right.
input and
Great
acknowledgement.
question.
Y'all take care
Peace.
now.
Peace,
Take
brother.
care.
All right. Ain't that something, family? Wow. The only question I want to ask, and this brother come and just ask it the same. Oh man, that's
Love
amazing.
it. I
Gotta
love it.
love the spirit world. Let's get to Sean. Sean, what's up? Sean, what's going on, brother? You got a question?
Brother doing the shadow work.
Yeah. Sean, can
Oh, peace. Can everybody hear me?
yeah, I hear you now, Sean. What's happening, brother?
All right, peace. First I want to say, brother Rich, I appreciate what you do on the channel. Whew, I just did some cardio. Yeah, you're right. I'm doing some shadow work. So, I appreciate all that you do for the channel. I appreciate someone that asks intrinsic questions to kind of get the thought provoking of people, to kind of see where their mindset's at. It's
Mhm.
very inspirational for a
Thank
person
you,
like
brother.
me, a young person that just goes around and asks people questions just to get perspective. So I appreciate all you do because it's done a lot for my journey.
Thank you, brother.
My question to the both of you is, what is both of you guys' personal perspectives of the positive and negatives that cannabis can provide on the spiritual journey, whether it be crucial ascension points or affecting the thought processing of how you learn in certain phases, or like just importing grid line or energetic phases of the earth.
I'm trying to understand what the question.
Repeat it one more time, brother.
Repeat the question.
My apologies. My question was, could I get you guys' perspectives of the positives and negatives that cannabis could provide on a spiritual journey?
Oh,
When you're
cannabis.
trying to,
Cannabis.
yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear cannabis.
Oh, my
Um,
apologies.
well, if you're dealing with psychotropics, you're dealing with tapping into artificial means to get to a natural source. We've done it before, only after we've fallen. Usually, when you're dealing with tools, especially when you want to access the spirit world, when you have to deal with tools, it's because a lot of the spiritual organs within us became atrophied during the so-called fall of man. The fall of man is out of that equilibrium where we were etheric bodies and we were tapped into the one and could do spontaneous creation and so forth. But what we're looking at today is this particular suit, this avatar, has within it records of our past spiritual and really superhuman achievements. But because we eat a certain way, because we are into pollution, and because certain things have happened to us, we have to now take on tools in order for us to activate those parts of us that we just use thought to activate. Now we need the cannabis, we need the ayahuasca, we need all these other things that we use to communicate with.
Mhm.
Just think about it. Remember in your Bible, for instance, everything was created before man. There's no such thing as something that exists out of nothing. So the reason why what happened was when we began to descend into matter, we needed certain things in order to operate within that context. Parts of our minds began to fragment and to create certain things representative of our minds, which is why cannabis interacts so well with our pineal and with certain parts of our brain. It's because We created those, or in the condensation process, there are things that were expressed in lieu of and in line with those particular thoughts and those particular spiritual expressions. So the lion became the kind of courage or the kind of majesty. The elephant became the kind of, so everything essentially is an expression of our own creational emotions, and everything we're seeing around us is a reflection of what it is that was placed so-called in the garden, or the Gan Hedan, because it's not, wasn't a garden. Garden is a euphemism for it. If you look at the Hebrew Gan Hadan, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, if you're using it, the recreational part of it blanks you out. It's an escape.
Mm.
If you're using it to achieve something, then its purpose has a greater result than just you just saying, okay, yo, let's kick back and smoke some trees. That's not it. We're not using it properly. We're not using the ayahuasca properly, the peyote properly. We're not using the mescalito properly. We're escaping from what it is it was supposed to be meant to do, and that is to trick us back into that place of peace, that place of harmony that gives us the joy that allows our hearts uh, to to engender what the soul was supposed to accomplish. So I would say be very circumspect when you use the cannabis, and use it for a purpose and not just to escape.
Indeed. Thanks for the question, Sean.
Of course, of course. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Brother. All right. Let's get to the next caller. Dream JB. What's going on? Peace.
Hey, how are you? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Uh, Brother Rich, I just want to say those 7 sacred prayers have changed my life.
Oh,
And I just
wonderful.
thank you for using your God power and being open and available. And I say I allow every day. And
Oh,
I
excellent.
appreciate you, brother. And that just
Thank
put
you.
me on a whole nother level. And Dr. Phil Valentine, I mean, and people who ain't got the set, like, buy it. Buy the God Power now. I'm telling you, do not hesitate and don't blink on it. And Dr. Phil Valentine, I mean, I've been watching since you was talking about Malcolm X and Obama, okay?
Mhm.
Like that is,
That's
and
gonna come
I
out
hope
soon. It's gonna come out soon.
that's what I'm
Get
talking
ready.
about. I'm ready. And so I appreciate you so much, Baba, and you are a huge part of my life and me growing my mind. And my question is that I've always meditated, but I've been super focused on trying to quiet those things in my mind that are distracting me. And I think I remember you saying that there was certain things that like it'll be there, but how do you make it quiet? And so specifically for me, I wanted to ask, what are some things I can do to quiet those things as I'm meditating and trying to focus?
Mhm,
Well, it's a great question. We
mhm,
teach this in our university, by the way, for
mhm.
those of you who wish to join our university. What happens is you are resisting because you're paying attention to the catalog that you've created called memory. There are memories of certain things, even the most superficial things are clocked into your memory because they have an effect on the brain in such a way as to say, okay, this experience is superficial, so I'll put it in the superficial pile. This
Hmm.
has real meaning right now, so I'm gonna put it in the
Right.
real meaning pile. So what has happened now is when you're trying to still that, thoughts are things. They are alive. They are breathing, living, radiating, throbbing things. And they seek a fulfillment based upon the emotion that was put into them, or the thoughts of I would say feelings and desires.
Hmm.
All of them are there, and what happens when those thoughts that have the greatest impact based on the greatest impact of experiences, they tend to come up and want to nurse from your attention.
I
Your
see.
attention become the breast that they want to nurture from. So they'll come up in your mind as soon as you say, okay, all right, the children are asleep. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sit back and have my day. All of a sudden, you start hearing, nah, man, man, and you're in this place, you're saying, is the stove off? Or, no, did I pay the bill? And what's happening
Exactly.
is that these thoughts that actually occupy your conscious state are so embedded and so have become such an addiction that you have this unconscious need to actually have thoughts to chew on, because no thoughts means that you're not alive, because you've become inebriated by so much thinking that you feel you can't do without it. And you need those thoughts to say, well, I must be alive. If I'm not thinking about something, something is wrong with me. So what
Mhm.
happens? What you do is, when you go into the meditative state, you let everything yell and scream, but you don't pay attention to them. In other
Okay.
words, you don't give the attention to the thing you think is important to think about. Like, what is the most potent thing in your mind right now? What is the thing that's worrying you the most? Write that
Mm.
down. What's the most thing that you said is the most important thing that you feel it will affect you? Write that down. Am I having a disease? Write that down. I don't feel good with my headaches. Write these things down.
Okay.
Before you go into meditation, these things will become conscious things, not unconscious things coming into your mind to bother you, because you're
Okay.
looking at them now. They're real for you. Okay, I have this thing, this problem that's been bugging me, and this problem that's bugging me is doing A, B, and a third to me. I'm looking at it and I'm saying, you know what? I know what that is, and I know what it's not going to be in this moment. And you're looking at all the things that are not, and then all of a sudden, once you know them and you articulate them, you go into this space and then they rush in. And they're like crickets. You ever been at night and you hear crickets, you don't know where they really are?
Absolutely.
That's it. So when those thoughts come, just sit back and watch them. What you are doing now is you're becoming more married and more intimate with what we call the observer, because the
Mm.
observer is the only thing there is. We
Mm.
allow our thoughts to circumvent what the neutral observer essentially is what it's doing. So we think that, let me just not rant on because I want to do this. Here, sister.
Okay.
When you're thinking a thought and it comes in your mind and you can
Yes.
actually hear the music or hear the voice or see the thing, what is the thing that's seeing and hearing it?
You just blew my mind. Hold on one second.
There you go.
That's it.
See,
Okay.
you see that you're not really your thoughts. You've been made to believe you are your thoughts because you behave in accordance with those thoughts. You change your emotion, you act a certain way because they rule you. But the thing that's looking at those thoughts, that's you, not the thoughts that you're looking at. Okay? So when the time comes and you go into meditation, sister, know
Hmm.
that what you're looking at is not real. It's just a replay. And you can switch it off at any time by not paying attention to what's on the screen.
You just blew my mind, and I can't wait to get off here just to meditate. I'm looking forward to it this evening. Thank you
Invitation.
so much.
You're
I just put
welcome.
that in my toolbox. I
Mm.
cannot wait to exercise that. Thank you so much,
You're much
Brother
welcome.
Rich. I appreciate you, Dr. Phil Baba. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, Dream.
Take
Peace.
care.
All right. Peace. All right. Let's keep it moving. To C Master. C Master, what's good, brother? What's your question?
Peace and blessings, y'all.
Yes,
Thanks for
sir.
having me.
Yes.
Gratitude, gratitude.
Yes, sir.
Ah, one question. For those specially gifted individuals, at what point will we access full full access to those will we have full access to those abilities? In regards to like a time frame or a portal or a particular alignment.
Well, it depends on, what your sensibility is. What is your receiver capability? What is your receiving capability? How
Mhm.
open are you to become aware and vigilant as to when that download happens? When is it that you feel that you are vulnerable, the most vulnerable? Because that's the time when the download comes. When you're in fighting mode, you're in a whole other mode right now. You're in active mode. Yeah.
Right.
But
I
when
get it.
you're vulnerable, that's the time when it's like, do I trust? And that's the big thing right now. It's very, very hard to trust anyone or anything today. And that's what they want. They want distrust. They want us to distrust each other. They want us to distrust the news, because every time it happens, they want you to believe it, and then after you believe it, what happens? It doesn't true. So you're
Copy.
addicted to this loop. So I feel that you have some deep background. You have a deep spiritual background. I could sense that.
Okay.
Yeah, that it may have gone through ancient Kemet via the Israelite, Hebrew Israelite energy. I'm not sure, but I'm
Very
saying,
similar.
yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm just saying to you that the fighting mode prevents. One is in fighting mode. That means you're in fight or flight defensive mode. But when you are ready to receive, you cannot be in that frame of mind. You cannot be in the sense of anxiety that takes over the part that actually receives that download. You have to be in a Ma'atian state of mind where you're not worried about anything or anyone. And when you become to that state of calm and you're not giving anything else importance over that, then you'll receive, brother. True that.
Copy.
All
Got
right.
it. Got it.
Th- th-
I've figured it out a little bit, somewhat.
thank you. Thank